this one, even though it's really old, it was barely used. So everything is in really good condition. It's just outdated. You know, we just saw the generator has like 80 hours.
Yeah,
this
83
is a
hours.
20-year-old RV. Like seriously, 80 hours total. Like everything is in really, really good condition. Okay, so we closed on the house and we were ready to go move in our RV, but we found out that the generator is not working. It turns over, but it's not staying on, and considering that it's almost 100 degrees plus humidity here in Florida,
AC.
Yeah, we need the AC. We need the generator to work. So what we decided to do was to put it in storage in a place where we're under a carport. And so that way we have a little bit more coverage and we can work on things like the generator. So Patrick's pretty handy. So we went ahead and decided to work on it today. Okay, so here's our generator. It's pretty old. It's the original one and it's in good shape, but this is what it's doing. So Patrick, helicopter going through. So Patrick decided to just start, let's do a little tune-up. And what else are you doing?
Well, first of all, as with like any engine, really, doesn't matter what kind it is, unless it's diesel. It only needs three things. It needs fuel, spark, and air. So luckily what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rebuild the carburetor, because usually if things sit for a while, which this one did, it sat for like 2 years, the fuel will get gunked up in the lines and in the carburetor, so the bowl will be all kinds of jacked up. I have all the cleaners and stuff and do that, but obviously I'll clean the air filter and maybe replace it, take a look at it. As long as it's getting air and fuel, then all I know is it's going to be spark. So, because as you can see here, I can turn it over. So we know that the electrical part is working, and the starter's working, and the starter solenoid is working. A lot of the other stupid little parts like the switch, the fuse, all that stuff. So the only three things could be is either it's not getting air, which I'll find that out, and we'll clean the carburetor out so we know it's getting fuel. All of the generators have a safety feature, so that if your vehicle is below a quarter tank, the generator won't suck the rest of the tank down, and you'll be where you can't drive to the gas station and get more fuel. So they won't work. But I did double check. We put some extra fuel in it, so we're almost at half a tank, just to make sure. And then I'm just going to start with the carburetor, and we're going to see how it goes from there.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Got my handy dandy little toolkit here that I bought that they gave me for my what was it, for Father's Day? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got it from me for Father's Day that has like 5 billion pieces of everything in it, so that I don't have to worry about having a shortage of tools. And we're trying to get everything that we buy for the RV is also something that we can use on the boat. Excuse me. Dust. So everything that we use on the RV is a tool that we can use on the boat.
What are you doing?
Right now I'm taking out the air filter. So I took off the air filter cover, or the air box cover, and now I'm taking out the air filter itself. Now I've never owned an RV before, but I've worked on a lot of small engines in my multiple years of being a redneck. So there's a few things that I know about engines already. So one of the things that's very important to know how to do is and I'm sure this is going to pay off when we take here's one of the things that we're going to have to replace. So this insulation that's here helps with noise dampening and stuff like that. It's old, so it's literally just deteriorating. But all it is foam, so we can go buy more foam and I don't have to worry about it. I just don't want to make a mess here, so everything's a privilege. So being able to work on it here is a privilege. Storing it is mandatory, but working on it here is a privilege. So it's like the air box is all clear and good to go. So now we can start taking all this off so that I can get to the carburetor. You can go ahead and shut it off. Alright, so one of the things we're looking for when we rebuild these carburetors is we're looking to take out the float. So you'll take off the bottom of the carburetor, as you can see here. And let's let it focus. Nope. Alright. That bottom hole right there that you're looking at is for the fuel intake. So this right here, you're going to take off the float by pulling that little pin out. And in that hole rides this little part right here. So this was all gunked up so that no fuel was getting through it. The hardest part about doing all of this is that when you're going to put it back together, that you actually put it back together the same way that you took it apart. If you don't, then it won't work.
Look at me.
Why are you showing me your boobs?
Yes.
Alright, so I did not do a good job of recording this as I was going because there was way too much cursing and slamming and being pissed off in general. So down there you'll see is the fuel pump and the fuel filter comes out right there. So in order to get to that handy dandy lovely little thing down there, you have to take all this off. These two bolts. That'll take the cover plate off for the control board. And since this thing has not been used in quite some time, I had an issue with a stripped screw, so that was not coming out. So I ended up just taking the starter solenoid and taking off the leads off of it, so then I could just lift the whole thing up out of the way. So, fun times were had by all. So now it's time to put all this back together and let's see what happens here. It's going to be a few minutes for me to get all this back together. Oh, and another wonderful thing that happened. Old wires. Clip pop right off. So, my beautiful, lovely wife is actually ran to the hardware store to go grab me another one real quick before they close. I'll clip that new little clamp on there, or clip on there, put that back together. Let's go. Looks like all that hard work paid off. Everything got clean. What I forgot to do was this screw right here. I did not know this until I did a whole lot of reading online, is for that altitude adjustment. There's actually a jet in there. So yeah, once I took that apart, everything was good to go. Now we can go ahead and do this. Nothing quite like the sweet sound of victory. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to switch these old antiquated lights out that are just kind of dull and blah. Now we switched them out for these really nice looking lights. They're nice and bright LEDs. Should save us a little bit of energy and they'll look a little bit brighter. Yeah. Peanut butter jelly time. I also got this baby in, and I know somebody who's a little happy about it.
I love it. Everything's gonna be okay. My chandelier is on.
Glitter makes everything better, is from what she says.
Yep.
So, yeah, there we go. Mission accomplished for the day.